Hey team, a very good morning and welcome back to another daily market outlook. EURUSD is pushing back in towards the upside from the overall 4-hour order flow, which is this beautiful demand zone that we have over here. Now, on Friday, the market started to consolidate and reacted initially to this imbalance candle, but didn't really see any follow through. So I'm deleting that demand zone and focusing mainly on this demand zone using, if you look at the 1-hour time frame, using that overall little imbalance on the 4-hour, which is a 1-hour bump in the road, as liquidity to potentially now push the EURUSD further in towards the highs. Because if we focus here on market structure, break of structure up, swing low, swing high, what we then can clearly see is that the market made a retracement into discount pricing, took out the initial liquidity, and from here, we now have the potential to push up higher. Let's say we do see another dump in towards the downside, then this here will be the final and last liquidity low that also has the potential to push your USD up higher. And if we then look at the 4-hour time frame, only once the overall 4-hour demand zone fails, which is your demand zone which you have over here, then we could potentially look for a short position, but preferably I would love to see one more drive in towards the highs here on EURUSD to take out this bump in the road. Because again, if we look at what was the overall impulse to break market structure here, that was this entire leg in towards the downside. Within that entire leg, we have one main liquidity high, which is this high over here. I'm simply waiting for that high to get taken out to then potentially start looking for a sell-off in towards the downside. So following the overall immediate 4-hour order flow, I still see there to be potential for your USD to continue pushing up higher. We can clearly see that demand here was in control, and once again, demand remains here in control, with the likelihood of the market now pushing further up higher in towards that overall liquidity high. Now, again, currently, this is the 4-hour demand zone that is in control. If I look at the daily time frame, I'm also not really seeing anything too much of interest at the moment that can really cause the overall continuation towards the downside. If I look at the daily as well, I would love to see this internal high here get taken before then potentially at the 4-hour time frame seeing another drive down lower. So that's EURUSD for you. Going into the dollar index, then you'll also understand why I'm looking for that potential push up higher on EURUSD, and that mainly has to do with the fact that the dollar index is still in bearish order flow. Now, let me just clean up this chart because I can imagine that it's a little bit messy for you guys. Now, if we look at the dollar index, we can very clearly see that the dollar index is still in a supply chain. Overall, we had an area of supply start over here. Then once again, we had another area of supply over here in the form of a buy before the sell, excuse me. Then once again over here, buy before the sell, and that is currently where we are situated inside of. We saw an initial downside push here last week when we took out this internal high over here. Now again, we've taken out another internal high, and this now again has the potential to push the market down lower. The only thing again, or the only situation in where I will be looking for that EURUSD short and for a dollar long is once the overall order flow fails. So once this supply zone fails and we break above that monthly open, we retest, then I'll be looking for a long position. Other than that, we could just again continue pushing in towards the downside, towards this main point of liquidity that we have situated right over here. So that's a dollar index for you. If we break supply, we can look for longs. Otherwise, I'm still looking for further short positions. Now, translating that then again into a GBPUSD, that would mean that GBPUSD still has the potential to push up higher. Now, I highlighted GBPUSD last week as well. It is consolidative, extremely consolidative, guys. It is stuck within this box, so it's currently not a pair that I'm actively trading at the moment. I do not really like what I'm seeing. There is still potential for this to, in the short term, continue pushing up higher. Despite that, the pound is still very, very weak. But I am still looking for better pricing before looking for another potential short position, because at the moment, the market is just not well priced for shorts. Obviously, if we look at previous price action where we had a break structure here. Here we had a break structure. Do you want to short on the break structure line? Do you want to short on the break structure line? No. Where do you want to short from? You want to short from internal liquidity. Where's internal liquidity here on GU? Here, for example, here, for example, here, for example, here, for example. These are your internal liquidity highs where we're currently positioned. There's nothing there, so I'm not really looking to trade GBPUSD from its current location. Only short-term buys, but then I would rather trade a pair which is in line with its overall swing structure, or a cleaner pair that is not as consolidative as GBPUSD, which for me is EURUSD. Now going into AUDUSD, we can see that AU still has the potential to push up higher. I'm still looking for longs on this. Last week we saw a minor retracement towards the end of the week. Now what I can see here on AUDUSD is, again, we liquidated the internal low, low, swing high. Therefore we are bullish market structure. We came back down to liquidate the lowest low, meaning that the market is now, or has now, the potential to continue its overall impulsive phase, because the previous impulsive phase was situated over here, and now I'm looking for the next impulsive phase. We've had the overall pullback phase. Now this is demand that is in control, and this should keep pushing the market up higher in towards the highs. That is what makes sense for myself. So I'm now looking here at the 4-hour time frame. I can see that we clearly liquidated all of the lows here, and we're now looking for this to continue pushing up higher. Going into NZDUSD, I'm also looking for some more upside. I highlighted already last week that there is a demand flow here on NZDUSD. I was expecting the market to continue pushing up higher. Now again, the chart looks very, very messy, but all you need to understand is, again, that we are waiting for what to happen. We're waiting for the market to come into, for example, the monthly open and higher internal liquidity highs, such as, for example, this here or this here. It's very similar situation to the previous situation where you had this high, and that's kind of like this high over here. You see the initial reaction, but no real follow through, right? As we have over here. It just chops and chops and chops, chops and chops and chops, before at some point in time you get to the free monthly open, to the monthly open, for example, take out some more significant liquidity, higher in the leg at premium pricing, and then we look for the overall short position. So that's kind of like what I'm also just waiting for in NZDUSD, waiting for some higher prices. And then, of course, what do we have next? We have USDCAD, USD Swiss, USD Yen, and Gold. So USDCAD still looking for further upside. This is retracing back down towards the monthly open. Canadian dollar is still weak. I'm still looking for further upside this week. Could it happen from this area of demand? That would be very logical for USDCAD to push up higher from there. But again, is the dollar ready? We do not yet know. Now, let's say the dollar index continues to push down lower towards that overall liquidity low, which I highlighted at the beginning of this session. Then that could mean that USDCAD could still push down, for example, towards this internal low over here, or even towards the 3-month level. Now, these are, again, very nice longing regions from where I'll be looking for further longs. There's no guarantee that price will continue pushing up higher from this monthly open. Why? Because the dollar index is, simply said, not looking bullish enough yet to really push USDCAD up higher. So what do I personally then do in these kind of situations? I take USDCAD with a much wider stop loss. So for example, a stop loss here, or a stop loss, for example, let's say over here underneath the 3-monthly open level. These are the kind of positions that I then personally take, instead of taking it with a very tight stop loss, being risk of just then, let's say, getting stopped out, market just grabs liquidity and then, for example, continues flying up higher, and then the dollar index suddenly flips, and then you then you miss the entire move. Then again, it's also perfectly normal to manipulate like this, and USDCAD could, for example, just push, and then continue pushing up higher. The thing is, the markets, we don't know, right? We just have to wait and see. But overall, market structure is looking good here in USDCAD to continue pushing up higher. So I'm still happy with further longs. Then USDCHF. This has potential to continue lower. Overall, this is one of those pairs that, if you look at it very, very simply, what you had was a breaker structure in towards the downside. You've gotten a swing high position over here, a swing low position over here. The market retraced into premium pricing, and from premium pricing, ultimately we expect the next downside push. Impulsive phase, and we kind of expected the impulsive phase at the time to start from here. Didn't happen. Now, again, we expect potentially the impulsive phase to start from here. We've now seen the daily fractal structure break in towards the downside. We're at the 3-monthly open, so it has potential to continue pushing down lower. USDCHF is one of those pairs I'm not looking for longs. I would rather look for another sell. It took out some internal liquidity here, but yeah, it's just not really a pair that I like trading at the moment, but it does still look good to continue pushing down lower from potentially that 3-monthly open level. Then, of course, we have USD Yen. So USD Yen still looking good for further upside. This thing is extremely, extremely bullish. I'm not going to try and call the top. There's been a lot of news about 155 being a intervention level from where the markets could potentially reverse. I don't really see it happening just yet. Overall, I am looking still for this to continue pushing up higher to take out the early sellers. So yeah, some short-term upside is still expected for USDJPY. Here we liquidated the overall low, which I highlighted last week, And from there, we saw a V-shaped reversal. I said this on Friday morning, if I'm not mistaken, with the monthly open. So I'm just looking for this high to be targeted next on USDJPY and not looking for shorts. And then, of course, we have gold. Gold in itself dumped in towards the downside to take out a lot more internal liquidity. So, for example, this low here and this low here. Well, you can see after the first low got taken, an initial bullish reaction, but nothing really in the form of confirmation. Also, if you look at the 1 hour time frame, what happened is that we literally swept the high and then boom, sold off. So this is kind of like a classic break of market structure down, takes out the internal high and then boom, sold off. So overall, if you are looking for the long positions, because again, I'm still bullish on gold, and we did make a tap into daily demand. I am looking for more upside still, but I would need to see a little bit more confirmation in the form of fractal structure, preferably one more dump down, maybe take out that low and then see like the 1 hour fractal structure shift, or really see a clear order flow start to form. Other than that, I won't be getting in just yet, because what could happen is similar to here, or similar to what we've seen in the past. We just liquidate this high and then we see another dumping towards the downside. So really wait for a clear order flow to start forming, and then we can start targeting the highs again. But I'm still bullish on gold, especially in towards December. The seasonality index shows us that gold is bullish throughout December. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much and appreciate you watching this. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below, and see you tomorrow again. Thanks.